Hey everyone, Meowington here, and as you can tell, I got a new microphone, technically a new headset, which is awesome, been waiting for it for quite a while now. And to get us started, we made a few changes. First of all is we made a trade, I know very early, but you'll see, and also a little roster move. So to start off, let's go to this, and you can see right here the trade is Devin Mesoraco and 21-year-old right fielder Eric Gabo. We traded them for Kurt Suzuki and 22-year-old minor leaguer right-handed pitcher Andrew Coutura, I believe. So my reasoning for this was that Devin Mesoraco, like I said, is basically our backup with a really huge contract, or at least he was slotted there in the depth chart. At least, I mean, I could have made him our starter if I wanted to, but I want to trust in Tucker Barnhart, see how he does. As you can see, he's being paid 5 mil, 7, 13. So overall, over the next 3 years, we'd have to pay him $25 million to either be our backup or put him in as our starter and see what he can do. I mean, he gave us a great season here, in 2014, and I mean, that's really about it. Nothing too amazing. And again, his defensive stats aren't really that great, and I value defensive stats pretty highly on catchers, even if they're not great offensively. And I also decided to throw in Eric Gabo, I guess, who's a little two-star potential rating. Looks like he can grow into like a decent contact hitter with some power, although he'll struggle to get on base a little bit. Decent fielder, nothing amazing. In order to get Kurt Suzuki, who won't be the best offensive player, but again, he's just going to be a backup. He's basically to give Barnhart, I believe his name, yeah, Tucker Barnhart, just a little bit of a rest. I think I have Suzuki to play like every 6th day or something like that, and as a backup, he's not really going to need to provide that much, and his contract's a lot better for us. We're paying him 6 mil this year, which is a bit more than Mesoraco, but we have the 6 million team option next year as well if we want to keep Suzuki as the backup, and if not, if we want to free up the 6 mil, we could always get rid of him too and not execute that option. And then Andrew Coutura, who is a starting pitcher, 22 years old. He looks alright. I mean, he can mature into somebody pretty decent, nothing amazing, potentially a 4th or 5th guy in our rotation in the future. His stuff right now is really low, so he definitely needs to work on that, but I figure, a couple more years of maturing by the time he's 24, 25, if he can get his velocity up into like the low, maybe not even mid 90s, even the low 90s, that'll make his stuff go up to a pretty adequate level. Not to mention the fact that his fastball isn't even that great, so he probably won't be a huge velocity guy, but he'll have a really good changeup and slider at the very least, with great control and I'd say above average movement. So, decent BNN page too, nothing too crazy. Oh, another great thing too about Kurt Suzuki is that his makeup is very good. As you can tell here, he has very high intelligence with high work ethic, and he's a very high leader ability with high loyalty. So he's someone that's really good to have in the clubhouse. And one of the lineup changes that I was mentioning, I actually sent Scott Schebler. I sent him down to AAA, and in his stead I called up Jordan Pacheco, who is going to basically give us a little bit more depth in the infield. He's a first and third baseman. His third base isn't too great, but I figure I can plug him in to give Suarez a rest every week or so, and then Votto a rest like roughly every 10 days, give or take. I mean, I'll monitor it to see if I need to bring him in a little bit earlier just to give again Votto some rest because we do not want to get him hurt. And he says some decent stats on him. Like he looks like, or at least his ratings look pretty good, and his defensive stats aren't awful. Again, just a little bit of infield depth that I wanted, and we really didn't need another outfielder because we had Tyler Holt and Yorman Rodriguez that can give our outfielders some rest when they need it. And if you want to see the lineups and all that, here they are. This is versus right-handed pitchers, the depth chart and the lineup versus left-handed. If you want to see, more in depth, you can pause it. So this is with DH, and then left with DH, and here's our pitching. So our number 1 is going to be Iglesias, then Desclafani, Finnegan, Simon, and Muscat. And of course the relievers, basically everything stayed the same. I really wanted a long reliever, and I couldn't really find one. Nobody really had enough stamina that I wanted to make them a long relief. I mean, maybe Pedro Villarreal, but he has 25 stamina, which, with my knowledge, I think people that are around that stamina typically can get about to 35 or so pitches, and that's when they start to tire out. And 35 pitches can get you through about 2 innings, 3 if you're absolutely lights out, but you would have to be really good, you know. And at a worst case, that's, you know, 1 in something innings and not even finishing 2. So when I think of a long man, I think of, you know, 2 to 3 innings consistently. So I guess he can be a long relief, you know, to provide 2 innings if need be, but I kind of want someone to be a little bit more reliable to give guaranteed 2 innings plus if need be, you know. Like if I ever have to take a starter out in the, you know, God be it or whatever, the fourth inning, but you know, as early as the fifth inning or something. And yeah, because I'm a little bit worried about these guys here. What's the word? Or what's the saying? Not God be it, God willing. There we go. Yeah, these guys are here, Moscott and Simon. I'm kind of worried about them, to be honest. I don't think I'm going to get too much out of them, so I'm not really sure. I'll have to see. The pitching situation isn't really amazing. It's okay. I mean, some of these guys are pretty solid, but then again, some of them are pretty bad. But you never know. Some of them might impress, while the ones that I expect to do well will end up doing poorly. So yeah, this was just a quick little update about what I did with the roster and all that. I actually did a little bit more. The personnel is getting changed up pretty massively. Like there's a lot of new pitching and hitting coaches in my minor leagues, and new hitting, pitching coach, bench coach. Basically the whole Reds organization from the top to the bottom got pretty majorly redone, I'd say. Spent quite a bit of money on that, but I'm hoping it'll end up paying off in the long run because of the positive development that it's going to have for my younger guys as well as the guys that are currently in the majors. And yeah, I guess with that, that's pretty much everything. And then I'll do a little bit of simming and I'll be back. So